Hey everyone, it's Warren, and welcome to my second segment of Theory Thursday. I have to say, I was completely overwhelmed with how much support you have shown me and this new segment. I got almost 1,000 emails from all of you submitting your theories for Theory Thursday, and they're all awesome. I read as many as I could and will continue to read the rest of them to choose theories for the following Theory Thursdays. It's very clear that I'm going to have to go over more than 5 theories each Thursday, but for this month, I'm going to keep it to 5 so the competition stays fair. If you're new to Theory Thursdays, let me explain how it works. If you have a theory of your own, you can submit it to cosmictheorythursdays@gmail.com. Each week, I will go over 5 different theories. This will change to 10 in the future. At the end of the video, you will vote on the one that you like the most. The winner will then be put into the pool of champions. And then at the end of the month, you will vote again from the pool of champions on what theory you like the most, and that winner will win the overall month. And the winner will get a shout out and a prize. Right now the prize is an IMAX gift card, so you and a friend can go see Captain Marvel or Avengers Endgame in IMAX. At the end of the video, there will be a poll where you can vote on your favorite theory. So those are the rules. You can also find them in the description down below. Last week's winner was theory number 2 from Gleaming Dust with an Ant-Man theory. Congrats Gleaming Dust, you are now in the pool of champions. Alright, let's get started with some theories. Theory number 1 comes from Kartik Sunil. Kartik's theory states that Ant-Man will run into Doctor Strange in the quantum realm. The reasoning behind this theory comes from an interview that Benedict Cumberbatch and Tom Holland had with Axis. And during this interview, we find out that Benedict Cumberbatch had a lot of lines about the quantum realm.
Side of that door.
Would you be the most likely to mess
But you
up
know,
on?
to be honest,
He has the most difficult lines, though.
Yeah.
He has to talk about so much quantum realm stuff.
Just stuff.
I just have to talk about, yeah, man, that's awesome.
This is cool.
So mine's
I'm
easy,
Spider-Man.
but his is also difficult.
Awesome.
It's like, I'm a teenager, woo!
So as you can see here, Benedict and Tom are talking about who messed up more lines while filming. And as you heard, Tom says that Benedict had the most difficult lines because he had to talk about so much quantum realm stuff. And Kartik goes on to say that Doctor Strange never talked about any quantum realm stuff in Avengers Infinity War or anything even remotely close to the quantum realm. And as many of you know, they filmed Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame at the same time. So that must mean that Doctor Strange talks a lot about the quantum realm in Avengers Endgame. It's clearly stated that he had a lot of lines about the quantum realm. We never heard them in Infinity War, so he must state them in Avengers Endgame. And in the movie Doctor Strange, the Ancient One actually sent Doctor Strange into the quantum realm at one point. Although it was very brief, he was there. So Kartik's theory states that Ant-Man will run into Doctor Strange in the quantum realm, and Strange will show Ant-Man how to use a time vortex. Kartik ends the theory by stating that this is why Captain America is looking at the picture of Peggy Carter in the Avengers Endgame trailer. Captain America now knows that time travel is possible, so he's thinking about Peggy. So that's theory number 1, now on to theory number 2. Theory number 2 comes from Stuart Groves. Stuart's theory states that once Ant-Man gets out of the quantum realm and Tony Stark eventually gets back to Earth, they will combine their technologies. Scott Lang will show Tony Stark Hank Pym's technology, and Tony Stark will then use that technology to figure out a way to travel to different dimensions. They'll go to different dimensions so they can collect their own Infinity Stones. He also said that he doesn't think Ant-Man is a Skrull, and he doesn't think Ant-Man who we saw in the Avengers Endgame trailer is from the past. He thinks it's current time Ant-Man, due to the fact that he shows up with his van. A lot of people think that Ant-Man in the Avengers Endgame trailer is a Skrull, due to the fact that he should be stuck in the quantum realm at the present moment. But I also agree, I don't think Ant-Man is a Skrull, because I don't think a Skrull shape-shifting into Ant-Man would take his van. Or even know where it is for that fact, because after the snap, it's just stuck on a rooftop. His theory goes on to state that when Captain America and Black Widow are talking in the Avengers Endgame trailer, they are talking about a plan, saying this is going to work. Stuart's theory is that once the Avengers have the Infinity Stones from different dimensions, they will ambush Thanos on his farm on Titan II. The Avengers will use the Infinity Stones that they have to combat the Infinity Stones that Thanos has. There has been talk of alternate dimensions for a very long time now. The very first supposed plot leak that we got mentioned alternate dimensions. And if you think about it, time travel is kind of tricky, especially when it comes to the Infinity Stones, because if you change something in the past, it'll affect the future. For example, if you change something with the Mind Stone, the Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver may never get their powers, and Vision may never be born. The Avengers may realize this and realize that they actually can't go back in time to get the stones. Instead, they have to go to an alternate dimension to get the stones. So that's theory number 2 from Stuart Groves. On to theory number 3. Number 3 comes from Lewis Pryke, who has a theory on how the opening scenes of Avengers Endgame will go. The theory states that in the opening scene of Avengers Endgame, Pepper will receive a message in hologram form from Tony Stark, and she starts crying and says, "Oh, Tony." She then looks at one of the suits and says, "Friday." Cut to the next scene. It zooms in on Cap crying and a shot at Bruce Banner facepalming while looking at their missing list. Then Ant-Man pops up and the Avengers let him in. Once he's in, he starts telling the Avengers how he got stuck inside of the quantum realm. He explains that in order to get out, he had to go through a time vortex which sent him back in time. He then found Hank Pym, and together they figured out a way to control the time travel. Ant-Man explains that once he got back to the present time, everything was different and he couldn't find anybody that he knew. Then Natasha, Steve, and Banner explain everything that happened, Thanos and the snap, and how they don't know what to do. Then Scott says, "I might have a solution," and pulls out a few bracelets. Captain asks, "What are those?" and Scott says, "In the quantum realm, they can take you back in time." Steve and Banner look at each other, and then it cuts to a scene with Pepper Potts flying into space with an Iron Man suit next to her. So this theory actually incorporates those mysterious bracelets that we saw in some of the first leaked photos for Avengers Endgame. In these photos, we see Steve Rogers, Tony Stark, Bruce Banner, and Scott Lang in what appears to be the Battle of New York from the first Avengers movie. So it appears like they went back in time, and they're all wearing these weird bracelets on their hands. And these bracelets are believed to be how they travel back in time. So this theory incorporates the bracelets into it, and we've also seen a leaked photo of Pepper Potts wearing some sort of armor. So it seems like she'll be wearing the rescue armor as well. So that's it for theory number 3. Theory number 4 comes from Austin Green. He's 16 and lives in South Carolina, and this theory has a very interesting take on Avengers Endgame. Austin states that Nebula and Tony are floating through space. And what if, while they're floating through space, they run into Thanos? Thanos is on Titan 2, which probably isn't too far from Titan 1, which is where Tony and Nebula are coming from. So they run into Thanos, but Thanos has already finished his job. He balanced the universe. So he doesn't want to fight, he just wants to be left alone. So he sends them back to Earth using the Space Stone. Once they meet up with the rest of the Avengers, they begin to prepare a plan to go against Thanos. But since the snap, the universe is now vulnerable, and this is where the second threat comes in. The second threat threatens the entire universe, so Thanos goes to the Avengers. The gauntlet is too damaged to undo the snap, but the time stone still works. So Thanos will go back in time with the Avengers to stop himself from doing the snap. We do know that a new threat is coming, and we did see at the end of Infinity War that the gauntlet is damaged. It's also really expected that Thanos will somehow work with the Avengers. So you never know, this could happen. So that's theory number 4, and now on to the next and final theory, number 5. Theory number 5 comes from Seth Martin, and it's another Ant-Man in the Quantum Realm theory, but this one is very different. His theory is that while Ant-Man is stuck inside of the quantum realm, he will eventually go look for a time vortex. But the time vortex is actually Kronos. For those of you who are not aware of who Kronos is, he's a cosmic entity who is the master of time. But he's also Thanos' grandfather. Kronos is a cosmic entity of time and the universe, so he might have a problem with his grandson eliminating half of the universe. So Seth states that Kronos actually helps Ant-Man so the Avengers can undo Thanos' snap. He also says that Kronos could have perhaps made the time stone as well. So that does it for theory number 5 and all of the theories for this week's Theory Thursday. These were some great theories this week. Let's do a quick recap. Theory number 1 was about Ant-Man meeting Doctor Strange inside of the quantum realm. Theory number 2 was about Ant-Man and Tony Stark figuring out how to travel into different dimensions, gathering all of the Infinity Stones, going back to the current dimension, and ambushing Thanos on his farm. Number 3 was about the opening scenes of Avengers Endgame, where Scott gives everybody time travel bracelets and Pepper Potts goes into space to save Tony. Number 4 is where Tony and Nebula actually run into Thanos and he sends them back to Earth with the Space Stone. But then the greater threat comes and Thanos actually has to work with the Avengers to undo his own snap. And theory number 5 is with the cosmic entity Kronos being the time vortex inside of the quantum realm. So those were this week's theories. Don't forget to vote in the poll at the end of this video on which one you like the most. And again, if you have theories of your own that you want to submit, you can send them to cosmictheorythursdays@gmail.com and they just might end up in an episode of Theory Thursdays. Don't forget to subscribe so you can stay up to date on Theory Thursdays and everything related to Marvel, DC, and everything superhero. As always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.